Hey, it's Nikko, and welcome back to the Nikko Daze Show, a space where we reflect, reset, and root ourselves in what's real. If you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, or Facebook, don't forget to hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode that speaks right to your soul. Today's topic hits close: letting go of friendships that no longer feel safe. We're talking about those connections that used to feel like home, but somewhere along the way started feeling more like a trap. So before we dive deep, let's pause for a quick daze check-in. Have you been feeling drained after you hang out with someone you once loved being around? Are you finding yourself avoiding certain chats or pretending to be okay in a friendship because it's easier than confronting the truth? Have you been holding on to a connection out of guilt, history, or fear of being alone? If any of those resonate, today's episode is definitely for you. And if they don't, still stay. Because one day, this may be a conversation you'll need to come back to. I had this friend once. We were close for almost a decade, went through everything together: heartbreaks, career changes, family stuff. But somewhere along the way, the tone shifted. What used to be love turned into subtle jabs. My wins became their passive-aggressive remarks. Vulnerability turned into one-sidedness. And yet, I stayed because history, because guilt, because they're like family. Until one day, after leaving another hangout, feeling small and anxious, I realized if I wouldn't tolerate this in a partner, why am I tolerating it in a friend? Letting go hurt, but staying hurt more. There was another friend I deeply cared about, someone I cheered on in everything they did. But over time, it started to feel like a competition. Every time I shared a win, they had to one-up it. Every compliment came with a backhanded tone. I began shrinking my light just to make them comfortable. One day, I caught myself hiding good news because I didn't want to deal with their reaction. And that's when it hit me. The friendship had turned into a game I didn't want to play. Letting go didn't mean I hated them. It just meant I loved myself enough not to stay where I couldn't celebrate fully. Real friendship is a sanctuary, not a battleground. It should be a space where you feel seen, heard, and held, not scrutinized or drained. When you constantly have to downplay your joy, defend your pain, or tiptoe around their moods, that's not safety, that's survival. You don't have to sacrifice your mental and emotional well-being to maintain a connection. True friendship doesn't require shrinking yourself to fit. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. There's also the grief that comes with friends who simply stop showing up. No fights, no betrayal, just the slow, painful silence of being left behind. I had a friend like that. We used to talk every day, then it became once a week, then once a month, then not at all. At first, I blamed myself. Did I do something wrong? Should I have tried harder? But eventually, I realized some people are seasonal. They were important, yes, but not everyone's meant to walk with you forever. And it's okay to mourn that, but also, it's okay to move on. You deserve to be surrounded by people who bring softness to your life, who celebrate you in your fullness, who stay when it's inconvenient, and who honor your boundaries without punishment. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's spiritual, it's sacred, and yes, sometimes that means stepping away from those who once felt like home. The hardest part of healing is letting go of people you still love. But the most important part of healing is remembering that you are allowed to put yourself first. Peace isn't passive, it's intentional. Let me be honest. I've had friendships that once lit up my world slowly start to dim my spirit. There was this one friend I shared everything with. They were my first call for good news, my go-to during bad days. But as the years passed, I noticed how our conversations shifted. I stopped feeling safe to be vulnerable. Every struggle I shared felt minimized. Every boundary I set was met with guilt-tripping or silence. I stayed longer than I should have because I was scared of what leaving would mean. But the truth, I had already left emotionally. I was just catching up physically. And this doesn't just happen in friendships. Sometimes even in families or workspaces, the people we once leaned on start to feel more like landmines. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes the hurt comes in slow, quiet waves, but the damage still runs deep. Letting go isn't weakness. It isn't bitterness. It's choosing to honor the person you've become and recognizing when certain connections no longer have the capacity to meet you there. We're taught that love means staying, that loyalty means sticking it out no matter what. But real love, the kind that nurtures instead of drains, allows for growth. And sometimes that growth means walking away. Safe friendships are not just about laughs and memories. They're about feeling held even when you're messy. They're about mutual respect, not silent competition. They're about consistent effort, not convenience. When a friendship becomes a place where you can't speak your truth, express your boundaries, or rest in your authenticity, that's no longer safety. That's survival. And survival mode is no place to build a home. You're allowed to leave the room without setting it on fire. You're allowed to grieve what was while still honoring what is. You're allowed to outgrow people, even if they were once your entire world. Peace isn't found in holding on tighter. It's found in knowing when to gently let go. Letting go doesn't mean the memories weren't real. It just means the version of you who needed them has evolved. Now, before we close today's episode, I want to invite you into a quiet moment with yourself. Take a few breaths. Let them be slow, honest, and grounding. If you have a journal nearby, grab it. If not, just hold this space gently in your heart for now. The prompt is this: what parts of myself do I silence in this friendship? And what would it look like to finally speak? Even if that means speaking goodbye, take a moment. Let the questions sink in, not into your head, but into your body. Feel where it lands. Think about the versions of yourself you've had to shrink, quiet, or hide, just to keep the peace. Think about the moments you swallowed your truth, and how that silence slowly chipped away at your sense of self. Now, ask yourself, what would it feel like to finally speak, to show up fully? Not for conflict, but for clarity. Not to burn bridges, but to build peace within yourself. And if goodbye is the only answer left, can you trust that it's still a form of love? A love that starts with you. Write it out. Feel it. Be honest, even if it hurts. Because healing begins when we stop pretending we're okay with what breaks us. I'm proud of you for doing the inner work, even when it's uncomfortable. You're not alone in this. So, if you've been holding on to a friendship that no longer feels safe, a friendship where you can't breathe fully or be fully yourself, this is your gentle sign. It's okay to let go. Let go even if there was no big betrayal. Even if there was no dramatic ending. Sometimes, distance is not about bitterness. It's about boundaries. No big fight, no resentment, just release. You're allowed to outgrow people quietly. You're allowed to choose peace over performance. You're allowed to walk away, not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring for you a little more. Thanks for sharing this space with me today. And if this episode stirred something in you, pass it on. Send it to a friend who's also learning to let go with grace. Tag us, follow the show, leave a review. It helps us keep this space open for real, raw, and healing conversations. We'll be back next week. Until then, protect your peace. Keep choosing yourself. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. See you in the days. Love, Nikko.